Have you ever wondered about the man behind the creation of the world's most destructive weapon? A question that leads us to the enigma that was J. Robert Oppenheimer. This was a man who embodied both brilliance and contradiction, a man whose work forever changed the course of human history. Oppenheimer was more than just a physicist. He was a polymath, a man of many talents and interests. Fluent in several languages, well-versed in Eastern philosophy, and an avid lover of literature, his intellect was as broad as it was deep. But it was his work in theoretical physics that would etch his name into the annals of history. When war darkened the world's doorstep, Oppenheimer's brilliance was harnessed for a purpose that was as monumental as it was ominous. Drawn into the clandestine depths of the Manhattan Project, he was charged with the task of unlocking the devastating power of the atom. His work bore fruit in the form of the atomic bomb, a creation that would thrust him into the limelight and earn him the moniker Father of the Atomic Age. But the brilliance of this achievement was shadowed by a moral dilemma of equal magnitude. The devastation caused by the atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki was a stark reminder of the destructive power that Oppenheimer had helped unleash. It's said that upon witnessing the first successful test, he quoted from the Bhagavad Gita saying, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." These words echoed the deep conflict that gnawed at his conscience, a conflict that would accompany him for the rest of his life. Oppenheimer's story doesn't end here. In the aftermath of the war, he found himself at the center of political controversy and suspicion. Despite his efforts to promote nuclear control, he was marginalized and his influence diminished. So who was this man, and what shaped his extraordinary life? As we delve deeper into the life and legacy of J. Robert Oppenheimer, we uncover a narrative that is as complex and multifaceted as the man himself. We explore the paradox of a man celebrated for his genius, yet burdened by the moral implications of his work. A man who, in many ways, remains an enigma to this day. Born into privilege in 1904, Oppenheimer's early life was marked by academic brilliance and personal struggles. From a tender age, the young prodigy demonstrated an insatiable thirst for knowledge, devouring books on wide-ranging subjects and mastering several languages, including French, German, Dutch, and Sanskrit. His fascination with the world and its workings was a beacon that shone brightly, illuminating his path towards a future in academia. However, beneath the veneer of scholarly accomplishments, Oppenheimer wrestled with emotional turbulence. His brilliance was often overshadowed by bouts of depression and illness, casting a somber hue over his formative years. Nevertheless, the relentless pursuit of knowledge remained his anchor, a steadfast constant amid the ebb and flow of personal struggles. At Harvard, Oppenheimer plunged into the depths of theoretical physics, his intellect finding a home in the complex equations and abstract concepts that governed the universe. His academic pursuits took him to the renowned Cambridge University and later to the University of Göttingen, where he rubbed shoulders with some of the greatest minds in physics. Yet his journey was far from smooth. He grappled with the rigors of academic life, his emotional instability often clashing with the demands of his studies. Despite the hurdles, he persevered, his resolve hardened by the challenges he faced. In the realm of theoretical physics, Oppenheimer began to make his mark. His contributions to quantum mechanics and cosmic ray theory earned him a reputation as a promising physicist, a rising star in the scientific community. But even as his star ascended, the shadows of his personal struggles trailed closely behind. The world of theoretical physics was more than just a field of study for Oppenheimer. It was a canvas upon which he painted his understanding of the universe, a battleground where he wrestled with the fundamental laws of nature. But it was his entry into the world of theoretical physics that would define his legacy. As World War II loomed, Oppenheimer found himself at the heart of the Manhattan Project, an endeavor that would change the world. This clandestine operation was born out of the fear that Nazi Germany might develop nuclear weapons first. The United States, desperate to gain the upper hand, assembled a team of the brightest minds, with Oppenheimer as their scientific director. Oppenheimer's task was monumental. He was to oversee the creation of an unprecedented weapon, harnessing the destructive power of atomic energy. The work was grueling, conducted in utmost secrecy at a remote location in Los Alamos, New Mexico. Oppenheimer, despite his initial reservations, was unwavering in his commitment, driven by the belief that this weapon could end the war and save countless lives. The culmination of their efforts was the Trinity test, conducted on July 16, 1945. The explosion was equivalent to the blast of over 20,000 tons of TNT. The mushroom cloud, reaching over 7.5 miles into the sky, was a chilling testament to what mankind had achieved, a weapon of unparalleled destruction. The atomic bomb, a testament to human ingenuity and a symbol of the horrors of war, proved its devastating power a few weeks later. The cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were leveled, and tens of thousands of lives were lost in an instant. The world had entered the nuclear age, and at its helm stood Oppenheimer, the man who had played a pivotal role in its inception. Yet the triumph of the Manhattan Project was also its tragedy. The creation of the atomic bomb ushered in an era of fear and uncertainty. Oppenheimer, once hailed as a hero, was now seen by many as a harbinger of doom. His own reflection on the project, quoting from the Bhagavad Gita, is telling, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." The successful detonation of the atomic bomb marked a turning point in history, and Oppenheimer was propelled into the spotlight. But the glare of this spotlight would prove to be harsh, and the weight of his creation would become a burden he carried for the rest of his life. Yet the father of the nuclear age soon became haunted by the implications of his creation. As the mushroom clouds unfurled over Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August of 1945, the world bore witness to a new era of power and destruction. In the blink of an eye, cities were reduced to rubble, and hundreds of thousands of lives were extinguished. These cataclysmic events were the culmination of Oppenheimer's work on the Manhattan Project, and they marked a turning point, not just in the course of the war, but in the conscience of the man dubbed the father of the atomic bomb. Oppenheimer's reaction to the bombings was one of profound remorse and guilt. He was reported to have said, quoting from the Hindu holy text, the Bhagavad Gita, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." This statement, filled with regret and sorrow, encapsulates the inner turmoil Oppenheimer faced. He had unleashed a power capable of immense destruction, and the weight of this responsibility bore heavily on his shoulders. In the aftermath of the bombings, Oppenheimer became an advocate for the control of nuclear power, pushing for international agreements to prevent nuclear warfare. Yet, his pleas for restraint were largely ignored, as the world plunged headlong into the Cold War and the arms race escalated. This period of Oppenheimer's life is marked by a profound sadness and moral struggle. He was a man torn between his scientific curiosity, which had driven him to unlock the secrets of the atom, and the ethical implications of his work, which had resulted in unimaginable destruction. As we reflect on Oppenheimer's life and work, we are reminded of the ethical dilemmas inherent in scientific and technological progress. Where do we draw the line between curiosity and responsibility? How do we balance the pursuit of knowledge with the potential for destruction? The devastation wrought by the atomic bomb weighed heavily on Oppenheimer, overshadowing his legacy as a scientific genius. His story serves as a stark reminder of the burdens carried by those who dare to push the boundaries of human knowledge and capability. In the post-war era, Oppenheimer's life took a dramatic turn. His political affiliations, often aligned with progressive causes, attracted the suspicion of those in power. His associations with left-leaning individuals and organizations were viewed through the lens of Cold War paranoia. This led to accusations of communist sympathies, casting a shadow over his contributions to science. The scrutiny intensified, culminating in a security hearing in 1954. Despite his monumental role in the Manhattan Project, Oppenheimer's security clearance was unceremoniously revoked. This marked the beginning of his downfall, from a revered scientific figure to a suspected enemy of the state. The establishment he had once served with such distinction turned its back on him. The very institutions he helped build now viewed him with suspicion and distrust. Once a celebrated scientist, Oppenheimer found himself ostracized by the very establishment he had once served. Despite his fall from grace, Oppenheimer's legacy remains a subject of intense debate. His contributions to science have undoubtedly shaped our understanding of the universe, yet the moral implications of his work continue to reverberate through the annals of history. Oppenheimer, the architect of the atomic age, opened Pandora's box, unleashing a destructive power that forever altered the course of human civilization. His story serves as a potent reminder of the ethical dilemmas that accompany scientific progress. The balance between discovery and responsibility, between innovation and consequence, is a tightrope that every scientist must walk. His life's work, a testament to the wonder of human intellect, is also a stark cautionary tale of its potential for devastation. Yet, in the face of condemnation and controversy, Oppenheimer's enduring impact on science and society cannot be denied. His journey, marked by triumph and tragedy, continues to inspire and provoke reflection. J. Robert Oppenheimer, a man of unparalleled intellect and complexity, whose life's work became both his greatest achievement and his most profound burden.